when you pull on that jersey, you represent yourself and your teammates. And a name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head.
And here we go.
And it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms, bare-chested. Somebody stop that man.
And this is why we check. Parameters and things beforehand, right? Can anyone hear me now? Hopefully, you guys can. Anyways, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, otherwise known as Tyler Falk. Welcome to NETMA. Let's see, what do we got? Hear music. Still no mic. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sarah Ron Yates. Anywho. Long story short, welcome to the program. This is the final edition of the program for the rest of the week. There's a reason I was not here yesterday. There's a reason there's no show yesterday. Some of you may know that I'm currently stationed down in Texas at JBSA Lackland. Unfortunately, yesterday I was able to. I shouldn't say I wasn't able to, but there was a lot of things going on. Least of which was the base I was at, JBSA Lackland, was put in lockdown due to an active shooter incident yesterday. Shooter, according to sources, was off base, firing toward base. As far as what we've been told, as far as what's been reported. Again, I've not been right in the situation. I know nothing as much as what has actually happened. But again, base was put on lockdown for, of course, safety reasons for everyone involved. Have not heard anything more than that. That took a lot out of me yesterday. So that's why I was not. There was no show yesterday due to all of that going on. And then just to compound matters further, this morning I found out that my mother had been admitted to the hospital. So I was not able to really do a whole lot of prep for the last couple of days, just with two things going on. Mother was admitted to the hospital. She's now back home after being there for about 12 hours. From just everything that she deals with on a day-to-day basis, her ailments. When she gets really sick, unfortunately. And so my mom's stable, back home resting. She's doing as good as you can do for someone who has a very bad cold, very big stomach bug. Thankfully, that's all it is. At least that's all we know of at this time. But again, mom's back home safe. Really just another big shock to the system, back-to-back days. So again, we're here to talk about football. Apologies for bringing personal life into all this. Just explaining why there was no show last couple of days. So today's going to be a little bit of a shorter show. I'm not really going to be able to cover a whole lot in depth. And to add on to that, I'm going to give my predictions for Week 8 of the SFLm. So let's just go ahead and get into recent free agency news and some recent news. Lone Star moves from Denton to San Antonio. So one of the largest cities in America gets another team. Last iteration of a San Antonio franchise was, of course, the Vaqueros, who now are in Denver as the Nightwings. So Lone Star changes where they are again with the new owner changes. So that's where they're moving. They're moving to San Antonio, I think closer to one of the current owners. I have not reached out for comment as of yet. This has just been announced in the last few hours. I'll be reaching out to the gentleman over in Lone Star for further confirmation on that over the weekend. So that being said, Lone Star is no longer in Denton. They're in San Antonio. From what I've gathered, the name is as of season 20, says Bo Martin Jr. So maybe Denton one more season? The Twitter post was kind of vague, I think. Anywho, maybe we can get some clarification from those boys during the move is as of season 20. So this is the final season in Denton. Thank you, Bo Martin Jr. Anywho, let's go get back on the train of thought I was going on. Let's go to free agency. Okay. As far as free agency goes, not a whole lot of transactions within the last few days since we talked about Doug Britton and Mason Kirby signing. Lyric Da Vinci, of course, reestablishing his contract with Louisiana. And biggest news coming out of the Revolution is that Chuck Diesel did not re-sign with Louisiana. He is now in Jacksonville. And so the Kings add a very good middle linebacker to their squad, while Louisiana now have to figure out who's going to be their middle linebacker. Not a whole lot of other signings. Mike Twinscrew finally signs his contract with Canton. Of course, he had already been announced as the coach over in Canton, Ohio. Other than that, not a whole lot of news besides a couple other things. Chris Porter, of course, was in Canton, but another name coming off the board here, or should say coming onto the board in free agency as of the last few minutes, I should say. That's none other than Rosca Santagria. Rosca has been released by Denver and is going onto the free agency market maybe, or we'll see what happens to Rosca Santagria, but that's a pretty big name on the board in free agency, late on in free agency. So maybe a stir for a couple of teams that need cornerbacks. Teams that really haven't done a whole lot and maybe just trying to fill holes in the draft. The biggest concern is San Diego. 11 picks. San Diego and Seattle, teams that have a lot of holes to fill in the next few days before free agency signs in the draft. Maybe they like a lot of the rookies in the minor leagues, or maybe they got something else up their sleeve, but they've got a lot of spots to fill, and time is starting to dwindle down there. Another team, Motor City, relocated out of St. Louis, not doing a whole lot as well in the last couple of days. Everyone else is getting closer and closer to the 20-man mark. Jacksonville with only 16, Denver with only 15 this time around. But teams getting closer to 20, not having a whole lot of picks for the draft as they're re-signing a bunch of their guys and finding some key free agents. But that is how that shapes up for free agency. Let's talk about the draft. A few eagle-eyed among you had spotted that there may or may not be a tentative draft order in the season 1918 offseason hub Discord channel in the NETMA server. That link is down below in the description. As far as the official order goes, this, I should probably write in there, is unofficial. This has not been confirmed by the SFL. This has not been confirmed by league sources. This is strictly based on, I, of course, work with Hunter Norwood of Jack Stata very closely on a lot of projects during the season. Of course, last season, I was working with him with spreads, and little beknownst to anybody else, I was working with their Panthera fundraiser, and every best bet and every prediction I got right or wrong, I would donate to Panthera based on that to help out that campaign, a very good campaign to help save the lions over in Africa and help them give some more local habitat over there. Really good foundation over there, Panthera. But anywho, this order was developed by Hunter Norwood, Base, and a few others in that chat as well. Eddie Gage and a few others jumping in, maybe helping to clear up some of the confusion. But this order is tentative. It's not official, not officially defined. So take this with a grain of salt. We will get the official order from Cam in due course. But that is how things look as far as a rough estimate. The really only positions that really can be maybe tweaked a little bit is everyone who was not in the playoffs, though that order had not been finalized. When we did find out earlier during the free agency frenzy how the expansion teams would line up in order for the draft. So Indianapolis gets picked number 1, then it goes Minnesota, Seattle, and Canton. That's of course official. Portland and San Diego. Portland 2 and 10, San Diego 3 and 9. That's more than official. They're the only 2 teams to do that, so they line up like that. Everyone else up until you hit the playoff teams, which starts with Florida in this case, that's based on our best knowledge of the tiebreakers. So this could be the right order. It also could not. So again, that's how we break it down. That's how we're doing that. Okay, on to the SFLm before we close up shop here tonight with the minor league. And as far as the predictions go, of course, tonight over on minor league fights and insights, Axel Raven will announce the SFLm Prospect Bowl rosters tonight on his show. That show coming up in about 45 minutes over on his Twitch channel. As we get going to some who you got. Well, who do I think is going to take home, well, maybe not just a playoff spot, but a win coming up here in Season 5's last official regular season. San Jose, unbeaten still, performing really well. I like Albuquerque's defense. I think they're going to put up a good fight. I think San Jose, I think they stand a pretty good chance of going undefeated, maybe taking it all. They have a really good structure over there, the flight do. San Jose here in this one, Annapolis versus Madison. The running game for Annapolis has been, I'd say pretty good. Madison's, I think, is going to have their hands full this time around. I think it is Annapolis who comes away with a victory over Madison, and we'll double up on the replay from week 1. Tacoma, Lexington. This one's more of a toss-up. I think we will see Lexington pull off the upset, I think, in this one, learning from week 1 and maybe finding a way to win toward the end of the season. Ottawa, Lincoln. Ottawa has been a little shaky. They were a little shaky last week versus San Jose. I've got Lincoln here in this one. So those are my predictions, and that is how we're going to wrap up the show here this evening. Again, shorter show, lots of stuff going on. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow night for the last week of the regular season for the minor league, and then we will get to more SFLm next week with the semifinals and, of course, the championship, and then, of course, the draft. So until next week, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.